At last, Chinese electronic vehicles are making their way. Did I say electronic? I meant electric. At last, Chinese electric vehicles are entering Canada. I know a lot of people have been looking forward to this for a long time because it's obvious that we need more electric vehicles. They are the future, but they've been pretty tough from a price standpoint. I know that many people rely on governments to offer subsidies programs, and here in the province of Ontario, those were cancelled a while back when the Conservatives came into power. So having electric cars that are good quality and are affordable could be a real game changer. Now, some people are upset about it because they're very nervous about increasing commercial relations with China. They worry about spying and interference and that kind of thing. But I think that's going to be a hard problem to solve given that there aren't very many other options. Because if you aren't going in that direction, where else would you be going? Who else is making high quality, affordable electric vehicles? The Americans aren't, neither are the Europeans at the moment. I mean, they make electric vehicles, but they're not really affordable. The Chinese do, right? They've got the large industrial base, they've got the volume, they've got the scale, and they can do it. So it might just be our only real option. From a security standpoint, yes, electric cars are essentially computers with wheels on them, and that poses certain challenges. But it's not obvious to me that couldn't be dealt with. That whatever the realistic worry is here, there must be a way to address that worry. The other thing too is that you hope that by giving access to these products into Canada, it would maybe light a fire underneath others in this part of the world to come up with a competing product. I know that's hard because China has certain advantages that we don't from an industrial standpoint. They just have a gigantic industrial base that we can't possibly compete with. You've got a country of over 1 billion people. We don't have anything remotely like that. We're just 40 million over here. So there are certain difficulties there in terms of doing that. But overall, we don't have much choice but to diversify trade because the difficulties that Canada is having with the United States makes it almost a no-brainer that you absolutely have to find commercial partners elsewhere. You have to diversify the economy, and China is going to be a part of that. They're a big part of the global economy. We already have loads of Chinese products coming into Canada. That's not a new thing. That's an old thing. We all have tons of Chinese-made stuff in our houses. We wear Chinese things. That ship has already sailed. But I know the worry is around electronics. We had the same problem during the whole Huawei thing. When they were going to 5G over here, Huawei was competing for that contract, and there was a lot of pressure against that. And of course, ultimately, Huawei didn't get the contract in Canada. And I believe there were similar issues in Europe as well, where ultimately, I don't know that there was any major European country that went for Huawei. Someone somewhere might have done, but it was the same kind of worry that you can't let electronics owned and manufactured by a Chinese brand into this part of the world. I mean, our smartphones are manufactured there, right? If you have an iPhone or whatever, they're all made in China anyhow. But it can't be a Chinese controlled company sending their electronics over here. But then what's the option? I mean, if we need electric cars, then, we ought to be making them. We ought to be making them cheap, and we are not. So really, I think Canada's hand is being forced into doing this. I think it's kind of interesting and kind of exciting. I mean, I don't know or believe that the Chinese will take over the car market in Canada. I mean, I'm sure they're capable of doing that down the road. But what I really hope this does is that it helps develop more options. I mean, it's really unpredictable right now. It's hard to know what direction we're going in, how the global order is being reordered, if what we can call happening is even a reordering. And again, we don't know how long this particular transition or rupture, as the Prime Minister said recently, is going to actually go on from. I mean, do we settle into some new kind of normal at some stage? If so, what does it even look like? Who knows? But I suspect that we are currently building that new thing that maybe few of us can really describe. But it's just hard to see how we do this without China. I don't know how that happens without China right now, because normally we would rely on the United States, but we can't anymore. So China it is. And we'll see how that goes. As I said, I'm actually pretty excited about those cars. I've seen some online reviews of those things. They look amazing. I know loads of countries are buying those cars as well. So this is going to be pretty exciting. In terms of what direction China goes, overall, because that's the other debate. I know that a lot of conversations around China express a lot of worry about China's hegemonic ambitions in the world. I don't know, because I don't know that they'll necessarily be the big hegemonic power that takes over, because what we are entering more is a kind of multipolar world. I don't really see the US as going away. All right, the US will remain a dominant power in the Western Hemisphere for quite a while. Who knows what can happen, but I expect the US will remain that, but we'll just have a multipolar world. That's just what it's going to be. And, Canada got a wake-up call that this country can't rely solely on the United States anymore. And it was a mistake to have put all our eggs in that basket to begin with. So that is being corrected, and it's going to take some time to fully correct that. But the thing is, even as we diversify the economy, the fact of the matter remains the United States is still next door to us. It's still the biggest economy, and it's really hard to see us actually disengaging from that economy. The US will remain our major trading partner. I'll be really surprised if any other country overtakes the US. I don't think that's happening. I think the US remains our major partner. I think everyone who knows anything about this will basically says that. All we're trying to do is build some resilience. That's it. But, we're stuck next to them. Canada can't grow huge mechanical legs and kind of walk away somewhere else. And historically, why would we want to? This was a very safe place to be. Many other neighborhoods in the world are pretty rough, and this was a pretty good place for Canada, right up here above the United States in the north, mostly out of the way. But now suddenly the country finds itself in the firing line, so to speak. So it's a very, very different reality that the country's having to sort out. And we'll see how it goes. For the time being, I think there's plenty of confidence in the current prime minister. He's a highly accomplished individual. He knows all about global finance and economics. Harvard, Oxford graduate, governor of the Bank of Canada, Bank of England. He's got one hell of a resume coming in. So I don't know that there's anybody better to do the job right now that would be in politics. So for the sake of all of us, hopefully he succeeds. And we're entering a brave new world.